Medicare Mark on the air.
Good morning, WRCR, and all the listeners out here. Good. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here with a very, very special guest, Izzy Quintana. Izzy is a veteran. Izzy is connected to Bridges. Izzy is a true champion of veteran support, and I'm here today to talk to Izzy. Welcome, Izzy.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for having me here. I appreciate it.
It's such a pleasure to be here. And again, Mark from Emerald Medicare. I help veterans. I help all kinds of people in this local community, really New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, understand Medicare and really understand what it is that their choices are. But today I'm here to talk about the services that are available in Rockland County for veterans, talking to Izzy about his storied career. And Izzy, you're from my neck of the woods originally, from Brooklyn, but from Brooklyn you came up here, and just a little bit about how you got to Rockland, and a little bit about your road to becoming a veteran and working for the military.
Sure. So I grew up in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. My parents moved up here. Actually, they came and lived, bought a house here in Rockland County before I finished my 8th grade. But I was going to parochial school, Our Lady of Perpetual Help, and I wanted to finish. That was, junior high with my classmates. So I stayed behind, stayed with my uncle as my parents, moved into the house. Eventually, after the summer, I moved in and started going to Nyack High School. I was class of 78, and it was a great neighborhood. I loved living here. Very different from living in the concrete asphalt city. So much to do in Rockland, and I love living here. I've stayed here ever since.
That's great. And so, you have served this country in so many wonderful ways. And just a little bit before we get to the work that you do for the veterans here in Rockland County, a little bit about, your career as you moved into ROTC and other things that you've done to get you involved.
Yeah, so when I finished high school, didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was a good student, but I wasn't ready to go to college. I joined the Army as an enlisted private, and spent my first enlistment contract in Germany. That was in the old days of the Cold War. I was an intelligence analyst, and I was in a cavalry unit. And basically, we patrolled the east-west German border and the cavalry scouts to make sure that they were going to cross to start the next World War. After my enlistment contract was up, I came back to, I went to college. I was more prepared and disciplined to do my academics. I graduated from St. Thomas Aquinas College, summa cum laude. I did very well. At the same time, I joined the ROTC program, where I got my commission. And then from there, I just worked my way through college and started applying for government jobs. I went through the old, SF 180, filled out a job application, and got hired by the U.S. Customs Service as an intelligence research specialist, and worked out of Manhattan in New York, out of New York City. From there, I applied for the special agent position for U.S. Customs, and it was a great job. I loved, worked international narcotics, money laundering investigations, and then after 9/11, they formulated the new Department of Homeland Security, which my agency fell under, and I worked as a special agent for Homeland Security investigations until basically my retirement, which was 57 years old. All federal agents have to retire at 57, no matter how fit and how capable they are of doing the job. That's just the law. So at 57, they gave me a nice watch, which I can show you. It has a
that is beautiful.
Department of Homeland Security logo on it, and they said, thank you very much for everything you did for us, but don't let the door hit you in the you-know-what. So at 57 years old, I was retired, and I was looking for things to do. I started becoming involved with the community. I worked with food shelter at St. Paul's School, giving out food every 2 weeks to those in need of food. I worked with the homeless programs at the time, taking care of homeless people. And then I became very involved with the veteran organizations. I joined the American Legion, the Veterans of Foreign War, the NIAC chapters, and then I found out about this program, which is called the Joseph P. Dwyer Veteran Peer Support Program.
And that came out of the work through 9/11, is that correct?
No, the Joseph P. Dwyer program just came out of, I can tell you the history of it, but it was a soldier from Suffolk County that came back from his time of active duty. He was in a cavalry. He was in a cavalry unit that spearheaded the effort up the Euphrates when Saddam Hussein took over Kuwait. So he came back never the same. He was suffering the impact of PTSD, and he basically died of his post-traumatic stress. He OD'd, and his family figured that if he had some peer support, people to help him out, maybe he wouldn't be gone, and he would be still here today.
So the work that you have sort of devoted so much of your time and effort with that Joseph P. Dwyer organization certainly has extended here to Rockland. And so much of the work that you do with bridges as well is connected to that. And so a lot of what we've talked about before today, before this radio show, is about the work that you do in Rockland County, supporting so many veterans who have been isolated, not just because of their experience in service, but also because of COVID. So what are some of the services, what are some of the things that, there are huge numbers of things that are available to them, but talk a little bit about the work that you do and what you're doing almost every day, it seems, to support these veterans out there who need support and comfort and companionship.
Yes, so the Joseph P. Dwyer Veteran Peer Support Program, we're out in the 26 counties throughout the state, and it's spreading like wildfire. It's, when you come back from war, combat, you never come back the same. You experience a lot of trauma. You lose friends that when you're a unit out there, when you're out on war and you make a family. It's called your tribe. You find your life relies on your buddy. That's a family. That's called a tribe, and you rely on each other to survive and come home. So, make a long story short, when you come back from those experiences, you're never the same. You come back, and it's hard readjusting because of everything that you've experienced in the military. You're basically told what to do for 24/7. Your whole day is planned out for you with your supervisors, your superiors, and you know what? You don't have to plan what you're going to do day to day. So when you come back after serving your tour, wherever it is, you're kind of lost. You're coming into, it's almost like coming into another planet, because while your friends have kept partying and gone out and doing these things, you can't. They can't relate to what you've experienced. Whatever you have done, in your military service. So, what vettevet does is it provides services that some other organizations don't have, like the VA, for instance. You can go to the VA and get services there, but what makes us different is that we offer all our services free to veterans, regardless of discharge. So there may be veterans out there that can't receive benefits from the VA, can't receive mental health because they have a bad conduct discharge other than honorable, and they fall through the cracks. A lot of these veterans, they've gotten out of the military, or they've been pushed out of the military by their commands because they've had PTSD, they've suffered traumatic, and they can't function in their unit. So that's their way to get rid of these guys. And these guys still serve. They still are suffering from these traumatic experiences and have mental health issues, and they're still out there. So that sets us apart from everyone else, from everybody else. We provide services regardless of discharge. A lot of times, these veterans, they don't want anything to do with the government or the VA. They just want out, once they finish their tour of duty. So we have a service. It's a mentoring services, one-on-one mentoring services. The people that volunteer have to take a 15-hour military behavioral health training course, and it's based on a peer-to-peer support model where we help veterans because we've been there, we've done that. So that's the whole thing about peer-to-peer support. They can trust what we're telling them because we've been there. So we've been in their shoes. We know what they're feeling.
So there's something for everybody, and that's what you've shared with me, is that your goal is to have vets get together with vets, to get together, to feel that camaraderie, to feel that community, because they are in fact more vulnerable. They are suffering internally and externally, and so they have a special bond, and you help sort of build that bond through all the activities that are available. Talk a little bit about some of those activities and support.
Yeah, so the main thing is that we have a mentoring program. So if you want one-on-one mentoring, we have veterans that have volunteered to kind of guide you, regardless of what your situation is. If you have drinking problems, substance abuse problems, mental health issues, if you're just have, any type of problem, if you need housing, we know where to refer you. So we're community-based. If the VA can't help you, we'll get you one of the local providers within the county. And if you need a home, we're going to help you with housing. If you need health care, we're going to get you the health care. If you need help with mental health issues, we're going to find that for you, even if, regardless of discharge. And then what we do is we have a lot of different activities and events, including support groups that veterans can access. And everybody is, there's something for everybody. Not everybody likes to go hiking or walking, but some of the things that we offer, if I can mention, are
Please do.
We offer meditation 3 times a week. We offer gentle yoga 2 times a week. We have a veterans writing workshop that's offered 1 time a week, where you write about your experiences, whatever they are. A lot of times you just got to get out what you're feeling, and writing is a good way to let all that out. So we have that. We have a veterans walking club that meets every Wednesday morning in the Palisades Center Mall, and we walk in the morning together. We have tapping, which is it's called EFT sessions, and that's a way to tap on different places in your body, acupuncture sites to make you feel better. We have different events like cooking with the core. We have one of our outreach coordinators actually went to school at the French Culinary School, and like every couple of weeks we'll get together. He'll teach us a recipe. We laugh and joke while we're cooking. It's just a social activity with veterans to get together. We offer Qigong once a week, Chinese exercises. The thing is that these instructors, they've been doing these practices, and they're volunteering their time and services to help both the veteran and the first responder community. All these things. We have creative writing once a week. We have a veteran book club. We have hiking with veterans every week. Every once in a while we'll have kayaking. And then we also just offer support groups. And the thing is, you don't have to call and tell your name. You can stay anonymous with these groups. So we have a wellness and recovery group every Monday. We have a veteran mentor support group Tuesdays. We have a woman veteran support group on a monthly basis. And this is unique because suicide is something that's taboo. People don't like to talk about it. It's kind of a thing where, even apart from from being a veteran, people just don't like to talk about it. And so every month we offer this roundtable discussion. It's called "Let's Talk About Suicide," and it's to destigmatize, suicide. If you don't talk about it, if you don't, it has to be treated almost like if you have some type of ailment, physical ailment, because it's there, it exists. You can't hide from it. And if we learn about it, if we talk about it, if we discuss it, maybe that can save some people's lives.
That is humbling to hear this list, Izzy, and the opportunity for these veterans to find something that is helpful to them within this long list that you shared. So one of the things you shared with me earlier is that often they need transportation up to Castle Point, Montrose for medical care. Yes, there is a clinic in New City, but often they need transportation. And I guess the VA used to be able to provide transportation, but now is it Bridges that has sort of supported that? And talk a little bit about Bridges and the role you play there with Carlos and Sharon and other folks that you've gotten to work with so closely.
Yeah, so Bridges, they advocate for people with disabilities in many ways. It's a great place to work for. We do great things. These are people that are forgotten, but Bridges advocates for them. So veterans, our program falls under them because a lot of veterans have both physical and mental disabilities, and they administer our program. So what happened was years ago, even when Jerry Donnellan was the Veteran Service Agency officer, the VA clinic in New City kind of basically pulled the plug on providing transportation from the New City clinic to the facilities that they have in the Hudson Valley area healthcare network. And those locations, if you need more than better services or an operation or more serious type of treatments, they're in Wappingers Falls. So it's quite a ride. And let's face it, the veterans that need to get there are the senior veterans, the elderly veterans. As you get older, you have more ailments, you get more sick, you have to go to the doctor more often. So these veterans were, at the same time, they can't drive because of their age. So there they are, they can't drive. They were basically left out in the dust. And Bridges took over providing that transportation. They got two vans that were equipped with wheelchair accessibility, specialized, and every day they're taking veterans to their appointments, because if not, they'd be left behind to themselves.
So Bridges has a location now on the second floor of the Palisades Mall. Clearly, they get grants, they get donations. They are really engaged with not only folks who are disabled, but certainly you work closely with them, with veterans. One of the things you shared with me earlier today was, we're coming up to Memorial Day, which is a special day. You also gathered as an American Legion last night, honoring the youth in the community. And I think that was really special to hear, and maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
So the American Legion does a lot. We're the largest organization, veterans organization in the U.S., the oldest. And there's a lot of good things people don't realize. We're very engaged with the community, the youth. We're offering our post is offering two scholarships to high school seniors graduating, $1,000 each. We always sponsor people in Boys State with the youth. We're involved with the community with baseball, Little League baseball, and we're looking for them. They're going to be the next leaders, and we want them to feel that being patriotic and cherishing the flag is something they should be proud of. Yesterday, before I went to the meeting, I stopped at the post office, and we received a card. And basically, what it said was we had sponsored a Boy for Boys Day, and it was a thank you letter for our role in sponsoring him and believing in him. And he's going to be enrolled with, he's going to West Point, class of 2025. Stuff like that makes you feel really good because you're making an impact on our youth and the future of citizens of America.
It's wonderful to hear, and again, I have been at the American Legion there in Nyack, and I know that there are American Legions all over, and it's a proud group of men and women who have served this country, and it's a way for people to feel supported in every way. So again, Mark Brownstein here from Emerald Medicare, here with Izzy Quintana, talking about the services in Rockland County that Izzy and Bridges and so many other folks who are peer-to-peer support people. We help people with Medicare. We help people that are veterans enhance their coverage. VA benefits are there for many, but does not necessarily fill all gaps with health care coverage. As Izzy said, there is some transportation for those who need it up to some of the VA facilities, but some of these plans that are out there support their Part B plans and have an option for better coverage or maybe some medical coverage that they want a second opinion on. So Izzy, the work that you do it every day. This is what is now your life's work. And so, what is it that you would say to veterans that are listening here today, or people who have family members or neighbors that they know about that are veterans that may not know about the work that's being done or the services that are being provided and the outreach that you all try to do so often?
Yeah, so I found out just through my own personal experiences and speaking to veterans, you have to be busy. You have to have a purpose in life, even when you retire. And you'll see a lot of veterans, and they volunteer. They're the volunteers at the community. They're the volunteer firefighters. They volunteer at your food cupboards, to give food away. They volunteer in many capacities because they've been taught the value of service, giving service to the country. When you give, you receive so much more. So I summon all the veterans to give of yourself, to be of service, and to find a purpose in life. You got to keep busy. That's the key to living a happy life. You can't just sit in your rocking chair and read a book all day.
So one of the things that we talked about was honor flight, and I was all excited to go on an honor flight with a veteran that I know who's actually a client, and then COVID hit. And so tell the listeners here a little bit about what honor flight is for those veterans who may be listening or know people who may qualify, and what a wonderful experience that is.
Yeah, you can... the honor flight, they do it every year. They cancel it, obviously, because of COVID last year, but they're coming on board. They usually try to get the oldest veterans on this flight. It's basically, they fly out of Newburgh Airport, they fly out of Westchester Airport. They usually have 2 flights per year. And basically, they just treat the veteran with royalty. They get sponsored, and they get on the plane, and they're fed, and they're taken into Washington, D.C. They see all the war monuments that are there, and they come back and they're honored. And there's thousands of people on the tarmac at the airport waving them on with American flags and making them feel really good for what they did for our country. And it's really a great experience, and I really recommend the older veterans to go. You can probably go with a family member if you need someone to help you with your wheelchair on the way. But it's you served your country, and it's a good way to be honored. They're doing, the older veterans, World War II. They're not too many, far in between. The Korean War veterans are the ones that are going, and now they're actually including some Vietnam veterans on the flights.
My good friend Steve Richter has been involved in honor flight for quite a while, and that's what got me involved. I took a couple of veterans up to a large dinner with easily 400 people that were honor flight individuals as well as family members. So the work that you do, Izzy, is tremendous. I am humbled and honored. My father was a vet. My uncles were veterans, World War II. I didn't hear many stories. They didn't really talk about it a lot. And is that a common theme? People come back from war and maybe they talk about it amongst themselves. Maybe they write about it. But are they sharing their stories?
A lot of them don't. I find out that a lot of the older veterans, they kind of tend to keep it to themselves. You have different eras of veterans, and everyone is unique. The way they served, World War II. The greatest generation, right? Well, because there was an enemy. It was like, the Nazis were going to take over the world. And if we didn't stop them, that was like a true objective to defeat them, or else God knows where we'd be now. So they're very proud, American generations. And then you got, like the Vietnam veterans. That wasn't a popular war. It wasn't a popular war. Politics comes into play. They're drafted. They don't have a choice. They were drafted, and when they came home, all these anti-war rallies, and they were looked at as baby killers and this and that, and they were spat at by some of the, their own Americans because it wasn't a popular war. But all aside, they served their country regardless. They raised their hand, and took that oath. And like I said, they were drafted. They didn't volunteer. They had no choice. So I really feel for our Vietnam veterans because there's so many, the complexities of that war and their service. But I applaud them. And they're the ones now that are saying, hey, look, and a lot of them are suffering from these ailments from Agent Orange and being in Vietnam,
Yes.
And I see that a lot. And it's very sad because these guys are true American heroes, even though they weren't treated the same. And what they're doing is they're telling the younger generations, like I'm a Persian Gulf veteran, Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and they're telling us, hey, those burn pits, same thing's going to happen to you guys that they did with us with Agent Orange. You make sure you get your benefits, make sure you're covered, and they're looking out for us. So I admire that Vietnam generation a lot, tremendously.
Absolutely. Izzy, it has been an absolute pleasure being with you, sitting with you a number of times, getting to know you. I look forward to getting to know other veterans through the people that you know, working with Bridges, helping other veterans in the small way that I can. As we end this show, and again, you have your U.S. Army veteran shirt on, you have your vettevet shirt on, you have your watch on. You are such a proud veteran, and you give of yourself in support of others. But one last comment from you as we end the show that you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah, I just want to let anybody know if you're interested in any of our programs or what we do have a website at the Bridges website, which you could go to. You can also call in to get more information. The number is 845-624-1366, or you could go and visit our website at bridgesrc.org and check out the different, we have a veterans website, we have transportation, and Bridges has the other programs that they have if you're interested in. But thank you very much, Mark, for having me as a guest. I appreciate you letting me speak out to the community to let them know about the Joseph P. Dwyer Veteran Peer Support Program and what Bridges does.
Well, thank you, Izzy. Again, pleasure. Mark Brownstein, Emerald Medicare. I will see you on June 4th, which happens to be the day before my 65th birthday. So I will see you next month. Have a nice weekend, Rockland. Thank you, WRCR.